And so, no, I don't think this is acceptable. I do think he's gone too far. Because of this meltdown, the other people in the show, they're not going to be remembered for the show that they wanted to have. He never handled it well, but I do understand where he's coming from. Coach Greg, in today's video, a bodybuilder from Iran clearly upset with his placings. He freaks out on stage, has a roid rage. But was he in the right? If he knew that the judges deliberately, on purpose, lowered his score for political reasons, then does he have the right to scream out and voice his concerns? Or should he just wave to the crowd and politely walk off stage, saying nothing? But first, let's acknowledge the quality of this guy's physique. This guy looks absolutely incredible. He has lots of muscle, amazing shape, is clearly shredded to the bone. Looks to be a deserving winner, or at least close to it. If you're liking the video, please like it, and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button. Now, back to the programming. Big reminder, Seco Bars, use code GREG, 10% off there, 27% bigger than last time. Much bigger, better value for you. Hope you get it. Click the link in description. And so when the judges announce him in first place, he's thinking, yes, I got it. All those weeks, months of hard dieting, the sacrifices I made, what I went through, it's all worth it. He's standing on stage. This is perhaps the greatest moment in his life. We don't know. We don't know how bad he wanted this victory. Perhaps this was his last show, his last chance. We don't know. Was he en route to getting an IFBB Pro card? And so before we judge him, we have to understand just how important this may or may not have been to his career, life, family, and so on. And so to simply dismiss it and say, roid rage, look at this guy. He's freaking out. Look at him. He's on roids. He didn't even work hard to get that physique. It's all roids. To me, that's going too far. Have you never in your life one time been this upset, this mad at some injustice that's happened to you? I'm sure we can all look back, think to a time in our history where we lost it. We lost our cool and probably wasn't captured on film. When we were younger, we used to get away with a lot. Say mean things, do bad stuff, and it wasn't captured on film. Imagine if the worst thing you ever did in your life, the worst thing you said, was captured on film and broadcast to the rest of the world. How would you feel? And so before you just dismiss this as some kind of roid rage and that it's just for some plastic trophy, do realize that this guy probably worked the hardest he's ever worked in his life for his moment on stage. And in his mind, we don't know for sure if it's true or not, but in his mind, he's being shafted, perhaps political reasons. We don't know. Imagine this. Perhaps he pissed off the wrong person. The head judge, the owner of the show. And he's in the contest and he says, I got this. I got this in the bag. I'm going to win this for sure. And then he hears his name in first place. Hey, competitor number, whatever, you're in first place. Only to then say, no, you're not in the top 3 anymore. You can go off stage. Bye. See you later. You're thinking, what do you mean? I just won the show. And so he voices out his concern. And if you think this is not possible, I personally witnessed this in competitions firsthand. This has happened to a number of competitors. And when you work this hard for something, it hurts bad. And so sometimes you overreact. And so what is my personal opinion? Yeah, I think this is an overreaction. I don't think this looks good. I think taken out of context, a lot of people are going to be shitting, hating on this guy. Oh, and in case you're thinking, oh, it's just steroids. Could this not happen to someone who's natural? You're 100% lifetime natural. Perhaps you lose to someone who you know is taking steroids, that they don't even show up to the drug test, and you're upset. Perhaps you voice out your concerns. Perhaps you don't. And so if we look back in the history of the world at the Olympics, for example, we've seen huge arguments over who's won or lost a competition. Coaches throwing their clothes off onto the stage, stripped naked literally at the Olympics. People had tantrums. Have you not watched baseball? The umpire kicking dirt on the judges, going crazy. Hockey, pretending they're blind, mocking the referees. And so we see this every single day, and we think it's funny. We watch it on SportsCenter. Oh, look, the top 50 most hilarious meltdowns in the history of the world. Yet this guy who feels he has a legitimate reason for being upset, being mocked by many people around the world. And so, no, I don't think this is acceptable. I do think he's gone too far. He's taking away some of the limelight, the joy from the other competitors. Perhaps the other competitor who won first place, he's going to be real upset. He trained just as hard as this guy. He wants it just as bad. And he doesn't know if he's being shafted or not. And so because of this meltdown, the other people in the show, they're not going to be remembered for the show that they wanted to have. And so it should be really easy to empathize with this guy and say, well, wow, I really feel bad for him. He never handled it well, but I do understand where he's coming from. Rather than just say, steroids. They called his name 3 times, but then picked another person because they were told to. Corruption in Iran is beyond what you can imagine in each and every context. And so imagine, they announce him in first place 3 times. Competitor number, you come get your prize. You are the champion. Only to have that announcement overturned. And you're thinking, I just won all this dopamine through the roof. Yes, I won. Nope, you didn't. I decided you didn't win. Perhaps the guy who changed the rules has a grudge with this guy. Perhaps he had sexy time with his girlfriend and her wife. We don't know. Just speculating. But perhaps he said, nah, I gotcha. You think you won, but I don't like you. It's my show, and I decided you don't get to win. So what would you do? How would you handle it in that moment? You don't know. You think you do. You think you'd handle it with class dignity. We don't know if you would do that. Do you even understand what is hurting him or what he is saying? This man is hurting. Please do not be quick to judge. And of course, you have the opposite comments. More like if you use a syringe instead of dedication and hard work. And so people, just because the guy most likely not natural, we don't have proof, but based on his physique, if I had to do a natty or not, 1 in a million chance that this guy is actually natural. But just because I don't think he's natural doesn't mean he didn't dedicate himself and put in just as much work as those who are natural. Listen, I've seen as of late a debate over what's easier, natural versus enhanced. And clearly to get the same level physique, to get the same definition and muscular size, it's far easier to do it with performance-enhancing drugs than when you're 100% natural. But that doesn't mean that all the competitors who are doing it enhanced have it easy. They, in fact, most of them have it harder. Why? Because the standards are through the roof. Think of it. Every second guy you see with a six-pack, little bit of muscle, you accuse them of being not natural. Almost everyone. Oh, he looks better than you? Not natural. He's not natural. Not natty. And so what most people think is that steroids, they work way better than they actually do. Oh, if you take PDs, you should at least be an IFBB pro within 5-10 years. How could you not be? You're on PDs. Why are you shredded? You should have single-digit body fat. You're on performance-enhancing drugs. But in the reality, it's not that effective. Sure, it's going to help 15%, put on a ton of muscle, perhaps 15, 20 pounds. But it's not enough to have you looking like Chris Bumstead or Big Ramy just because you're using large doses. And so one thing I really enjoyed about this video is that I don't speak that language. Not a single word of it. But despite this, I can see just how mad, disappointed this guy is. You don't need to know what he's saying because you can clearly see the dissent, the distaste, the anger in this man. The level of sheer disappointment, frustration, it is through the roof. And so what exactly do you do when you're being unfairly treated, unjustly? If somebody forces you to do something that you don't think you should need to do, that's not harming anyone else, that you feel is okay, should you just sit there and do nothing, or should you speak out? And so I don't have all the answers. I don't know what to do. But I do know that sometimes speaking up and standing up for yourself is okay. Had this guy not said anything, waved to the crowd and walked off, he would have walked off with dignity. But had he had done that, no one would have spoken about it. It wouldn't have gone viral. I wouldn't have made a video. And so no one would have known about the corruption. And so these individuals, perhaps brave, I don't know, perhaps they're just jerks who speak out against authority for what they believe is right, Should we sit there and dismiss it as roid rage? Or try to empathize with their own individual experience? The ramifications following this, perhaps he's going to be mocked for years. Perhaps he'll never be allowed to compete ever again. We don't know. But in that moment, he did what he felt is right. He never punched anyone, never cursed, never resorted to violence, and so no individual was harmed during this tantrum. And so could it have been worse? Heck yeah, it could have been worse. Could it have been handled better? Of course it could. And so what is my personal opinion? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know how he should have done it. I don't know how I would have done it. But what would you have done? Let me know in the comment section. What would you have done? And remember, he really wants this win really bad and feels he truly deserved it. And in his mind, the judges said he won. And then they were told, change that. Nope, you never won. And so now that you have the full context, let me know. Was he in the right? Wrong? What should he have done? Please, I'm looking forward to reading your comments. Hope you enjoyed the video. Ending it here. And of course, the Seco bars, gotta get those. Code Greg, 10% off. Also, tons of supplements. HGLTsubs.com, GregDoucette.com for coaching. Also, training books, cookbooks, Circle Diet Book, coaching plans by me and my team. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment for the algorithm. Don't forget to like the video. Watch the bloops. Get your supplements, HGLTsubs.com, and remember to use code Greg to get yourself 10% off. And until next time, I'm out.